Today, we're going to be taking raw copper wire, melting it down, and casting it into an anthill. This crucible is in horrible condition, so we need to be really careful here. All right, are you ready? Oh man, that looks good. So far, I mean, I don't know what the rest of it looks like. First thing we got to do is get the furnace lit. Start by placing a business card that's on fire into the forge. And that fast, we got fire. Essentially, copper melts at 1940 degrees. This molten copper is going to be over 2,000 degrees before it's liquid enough that I'll be able to travel the distance required to put this copper down into an anthill. I'm going to go ahead and cover the forge up to help hold in as much of that heat as possible. Unfortunately, in my previous video, my whole lid fell off. Now the next step is going to be to find an anthill. We found one anthill that appears to be a suitable size. I always err on the side of caution when pouring anthills. There's multiple variables. The first one I look for is the size of the anthill and make sure that I'm going to have enough molten metal to fill all of the chambers so I have a complete intact piece with one pour. The next thing I need to do when I find that suitable anthill is make up a mixture of soil with just a little bit of moisture in it. This right here, it's not like mud. You can't squeeze it and get much water out, but there's some water in it that'll hold it together. I use this to create a funnel to ensure that all of the molten metal goes down into the ant colony and then forms a nice solid base. Having a base that's stable will allow me to prop the anthill upside down. Now this anthill is actually going to be a gift for my mother for Christmas. So I want to make sure that it's a good stable gift she can put on her countertop and not have to worry about it falling off. If it falls off, it could break or break something. Now, the reason you don't want your soil to be too moist is because steam will be created. And if steam builds up pressure like down in the anthill, it can cause an explosion. This is the same principles that allowed the steam engine to work when we first developed it for transportation like trains and stuff. So this anthill appears to be of a good size and it's in a bad spot. Those two things combined make it a good candidate to do a cast today. Now this anthill is a fire ant hole. Now fire ants in our area have been really prolific. They make massive colonies. The problem with massive colony molds is that it takes too much molten metal. Better to use aluminum for fire ants. Back over here to the furnace. Everything is red hot. I can still see solid bits of copper in there, so it's not completely melted by any means. The spoon is starting to get red hot as well, so it's getting close to that time where I'll be able to pound that extra piece of copper off that spoon. I want to share something with you. Do y'all want to see me and my wife's metal detector finds? We're not pros by any means, but just probably 4 or 5 days of searching, different days, we found all this. Mostly pennies, but we found 2 cool hearts and 2 charms. This is a locket. I don't know if it's actually gold or not, but to me it's more valuable as the artifact we found. Some bullet shells. I don't know what this thing is. It's got like a symbol on the top up there. And then this looks like some sort of a lock and key, some kind of big cowbell or something, a gear wheel, some fishing stuff in our Hot Wheels collection. They're in the worst condition ever, but it was the time we spent and the sentimental value that they hold. So that's our metal detecting collection. And we've only been doing it like 5 days. Now the tip of that spoon that's covered in copper is pretty red hot. Let's see how hard or easy it is to get that extra piece of copper off the tip of that spoon. Now the reason that copper stuck to the tip of that spoon is kind of like the same principle that water goes through when it gets colder. It freezes. Copper has a freezing point at 1980 degrees. Essentially, copper will never freeze naturally on this earth, or never melt naturally. Something supernatural like a volcano would melt copper, or an asteroid impact that creates so much pressure. This copper didn't just fall right off, but let's try to pry it hard. Okay, the spoon's definitely softer, but the copper didn't fall off. So let's just see if a few hits with a hammer can get it off. There it is. We got it. And my spoon's still somewhat intact. It's got a big crack in it right there. Let's go ahead and put that copper into the crucible to add to the volume of metal we'll have for the melt. While doing this, I'll kind of feel the other copper that's in there and see if we're getting liquid or not. I really need to just inspect this. Let's inspect the whole crucible. That looked a little like there was either a lot of impurities or something. Here's how malleable copper is when it's hot. Pretty malleable. You don't want to hit your gas line with this because that could create an explosion. FYI, tips from this brick was really hot. Melted my pliers. And this spoon's really hot. Okay. So what we have is a failed crucible. My crucible is starting to buckle. This melt is done. Let me go grab another crucible so we can salvage some of this here. Don't know what to do now. I don't trust this. This is not good. This is extremely dangerous. This whole thing's a flop. I can't use this. Look at this. What am I gonna do? I can't fucking use that. Alright, y'all, this is gonna go really good or it could be horrible. So we're gonna find out right now. Turning off the propane. And we gotta work fast. Like, really fast. Because copper will freeze, and we don't want that to happen. So, crucible is nice and hot. Not too worried about these bricks. Let's see if we have any molten copper. Looks like we got a lot. Crucible held up enough that we'll be able to do something here. I preheated this spoon to try to prevent extra molten copper from sticking to it. And this crucible is in horrible condition. So we need to be really careful here. All right, are you ready? Make sure you stay back enough to where you cannot get in the line of fire. A lot of stuff here. All right. Trying to grab it low. Real careful. Yep, the crucible's already leaking, so this is probably not going to work out good at all. All right, going to the anthill with what I can. That's all we got. That's everything. All right. Now I got to put out the fires along the way. Yeah, show a video of this. If you look in the bottom of the furnace, there's a lot of molten metal in there. That's how much we lost. All right, so this will harden. Looks like we got a decent base. In no time, we'll find out how good this pour turned out. Yeah.
Colin, get back.
Come on. That's the steam that flows around the steam. Pretty pressure on the ground and steamers. Ah! Just kidding. Okay.
Oh, pretty.
Wow. Something else though. Ooh, that dirt's hot as shit.
Use your shovel.
Yeah, there's some hot bits around here. Okay. Wow. Holy cold moly. Tamale. Spray that thing, baby.
How's it gonna sit?
It's not. It doesn't sit. What a lot of people do is they put them on wood bases.
The number you have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the